Yo, so before we even get started, man, I gotta give y'all an extra super special shout out because as of this recording, I am currently at 306 subscribers. No idea I had basically doubled my subscriber base in these past few months, but that is fucking major to me, man. So I just want to really say thank each and every one of y'all that has supported and will continue to support the channel as we keep going and growing. Like, real shit, one of my followers on Reddit had to point it out to me because he was like, yeah, man, like, you're at 300 subs, you just keep growing, you'll be one of the biggest. And I'm like, wait, I'm at 300 subs? And like, yeah, man, I had no idea that this would take me this far. I mean, that might not be a lot to y'all, but hell, I've been doing this shit on and off for like 6-7 years. I finally got consistent and doubled my follower count. So again, appreciate y'all, man. Like, really thank y'all for like making that shit worth it. I enjoy making the content and y'all obviously enjoy seeing it, so we're gonna keep doing that going forward. I'm not done with the everything wrong with person series. It's coming back, just gotta find the right video, the right context to do it, because I don't want to just dunk on people like that for having opinions, but when those opinions are wrong, I will be there. So right off the bat, this video is basically like the brainchild of me having a conversation with the Rough Transition Discord. The link will be in there in the description so y'all can come through, chat with us. It gets wild. A combination of talking to them and like my friends that I do the podcast with, and it was just like, you know, why is it that back in the past, Sonic Team and Sega had no issue putting Sonic on a yearly schedule, and then later in the series life, that same schedule basically was what led to the dark age of Sonic. Like, there was basically it's the dev time between games, and I kind of want to look at what was going on during those eras, how easy it was to just, you know, make a new Sonic game at the time versus what happened later on. And, you know, just kind of take a little bit of a look at that. I don't think this video will be too long. I say that now, then watch this shit be like 20 fucking minutes. But I just wanted to look at that because it was something that I'd been mulling over in my head for a while. So let's just get straight to it. The original Sonic the Hedgehog released June 23rd, 1991, just 3 months before your boy. I was on September 20th, 1991, but either way it goes. Released June 23rd, 1991, critical acclaim game. Knocked Nintendo off the throne of home console emperor in their first attempt, one fell swoop. Great game, like, despite, you know, it not being considered, you know, great now just because the sequels improved on it that much. It was still really good. The game was mostly developed in 1989, 1990. Most bug testing was done in 1991, but, you know, still, good game. Great game. First game does well, you get a sequel, right? Obviously, Sonic 2 is a fucking banger. This is my personal favorite of the original 4 games. 1 year, 6 months, and 1 day after Sonic 1 released, we got Sonic 2. And again, most of the assets are the same, so you don't have to change too much. Everybody was hype about the success of Sonic 1, so obviously we get right to work on 2. As much fervor, gotta be bigger, grander. Again, another great game output by Sega with only 18 months to develop, create new music, all of that good stuff. Knocked it out of the park. Magic. Let's see if it keeps going. I used the Japanese date because it has a better soundtrack. Cope coming in just under 10 months after Sonic 2, we got Sonic CD. Now, people have varying opinions on this game, self-included. I used to not really care for it because of the time travel mechanic that's present. But after going through it and playing and just doing the time zones, like special stages, game's great. Game's really good if you don't use the mechanic that it was designed around, which is unfortunate because going to the past and the future is really cool. The time stones just basically render it useless, but still solid 7 out of 10 experience. 5 months later, we get blessed with Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Now, this was a major upgrade for the series. We got a new sprite, bigger stages, more stages. The music had been severely upgraded. I mean, it's still using the same kit, but like there are a lot more levels or layers in the soundtrack this go around. But I mean, again, a lot of the core assets are still there, so like it's really easy for them to push out games at this point because the team is seasoned. They know what the hell they're doing, so it's easy to just, you know, say, hey, we need a new Sonic game. All right, cool, here you go. But this game is notoriously short. There's only 6 stages in it, and that's because 8 months and 16 days later, its younger brother, Sonic and Knuckles, was born. Now, the game itself, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, is actually 2 games. Sega had the lock-on technology. It's a story that by now I'm sure you know, but in case you don't, it basically made Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles Sonic 3 and Knuckles, the one game that everybody knows. They had a promo going at the time with McDonald's where, you know, if you bought a Happy Meal, you had a chance to win a copy of Sonic and Knuckles. And that is speculated to be part of the reason that the delay was there, but that was only in America to my knowledge, so like every other region didn't have to abide by that, but most of them did. I think the only other one was Australia because they got the game the next month in November. But still, 8-month and 16-day development time, still managed to put out a banger. Now here's where we're going to take a little breaky break, and I just want to say, video's not over. I just have to put this segue into the next section because the entire theory behind this was my idea that the more time Sonic Team has with a game, the better the game is. And I believe there's both some proof and a little bit of detriment to that. But again, this video is simply explaining how dev time can impact, you know, each subsequent sequel to each of these games. Like, I don't want to do a deep dive in this video about everything that was going on behind the scenes at Sega, but you know, I will make mention of it from time to time, so you will hear that to kind of give context. But again, I just wanted to say that like that was like what started me wanting to make this video, was just like people and their opinions on Frontiers, because they've had 5 years to develop it, and I am in the camp that believes the game is actually going to be really solid because they've had 5 years, and given their previous track record of releasing a yearly game, I'ma just get back into the video. September 9th, 99, boy. Day that goes down in infamy, Dreamcast launch day, and we got a brand new 3D Sonic game. Holy shit. This is personally my favorite of the 2 adventure games gameplay wise, because like it's just, this is the best that Sonic's ever felt. I don't know if like they'll recapture that in Frontiers, but a lot of people are saying that it feels eerily similar, so that's good. But either way, first 3D Sonic game, they absolutely nailed it out of the park. The last mainline Sonic game that wasn't a handheld was Sonic 3D Blast, but I didn't want to include it on the list because I mean they had 2 years and it was an isometric Sonic game. It wasn't that great, but you know, that did drop in 96, so like I do have to make mention of it. But this is absolutely stellar game after they had 3 years off from making mainline titles. Absolutely blew it out of the water, despite the rough transition that some people might talk about. Why aren't y'all in the Discord? It's in the description, and it's the name of the fucking Discord. Get in there and bullshit with us. We are so fun. Coming in 1 year and 9 months after Sonic Adventure set the tone for the 3D games is Sonic Adventure 2, the absolute fucking GOAT, according to the internet. No, I'm just kidding, this game's really fucking good. Introduced my favorite character, Shadow, as well as 4 other playable characters with Tails, Knuckles, Eggman, and Rouge, all being playable characters in their own pieces of the story. Game's fantastic. Again, it's held in extremely high regard by the community at large for, you know, doing the story beats as well as it did. Gameplay still holds up to this day. Absolute banger of a game with almost 2 year dev time, by the way. Take your time and you put out classics. 2 years and 7 months later, we got blessed with another based classic, in my opinion. Sonic Heroes introduced the team-based gameplay for the first, well, not the first, but, you know, the first three-man team gameplay in the series for the first and last time, because they never did this shit again. Honestly, this is like, depending on who you ask, this is either the pinnacle of the Sonic series, yeah, fucking right, or the start of the decline of the Sonic series. I didn't really find this game too egregious. Like, the momentum is weird because there's like, you're either not moving at all or moving at max speed. The stages are linear by design because you have to use certain formations to progress, and like you can't use a flight formation on a power path and do some type of shortcut. You just have to circumvent the part that requires you to do that part, but that, again, whole nother video. I don't think this game was bad, honestly. Like, you know, this was still some heat for that 2 year and 7 month development time. Again, give it time, you put out bangers. This is inoffensive as a Sonic game to me. I like it. I don't play it again, but like, I like the game. I liked Heroes. It was solid. This is the one that's widely considered to be like the first real misstep in the franchise. Releasing a year and 11 months after Heroes, we got Shadow the Hedgehog. My favorite character got his own game, but holy shit, was the mark missed. Like, the tone of this game is just so odd. Like, it was a weird period, like, where Japan was trying to like make a real Western push where games were concerned. By, you know, what do American gamers like? Guns and motorcycles and hard rock music, and that's what Shadow the Hedgehog is. Like, we reintroduced the amnesiac aspect in the story, which is weird because that kind of got resolved in Heroes, but that, along with like some programming issues and just like really weird pacing for the stages, just it's such a C-tier game. Like, mechanically, it functions right for the most part. I'm looking at you, Lost Colony, but yeah, there were just a lot of things that were just odd for this time in the franchise. I mean, at this point, there's really nothing I need to say about Sonic 06. Game came out almost exactly a year, 1 week, and 2 days after Shadow the Hedgehog. It was the first next-gen Sonic game. The team at Sega was split in half. Like, one side was going to work on the Nintendo games, the other side was going to work on the other games. Also, Yuji Naka, the creator at the time, had left Sega, like, permanently. So, like, there was no real direction. Like, this game is a victim of circumstance. Like, yes, the game has technical issues. Yes, the story is goofy as shit. Soundtrack's a banger, but I mean, it's a Sonic game, so you know what to expect at this point. But the internet just will not let this game fucking die. Like, there's nothing I could say that hasn't been said for the past 16 years. So much so that people are even saying Frontiers is the next 06. I hate the internet. I hate the fucking internet. 3 months and 6 days later, we got to find out what it would be like if Sonic was a car. Sonic and the Secret Rings dropped on the Wii to, I don't want to call it mixed reception because most of it was bad, but you know, the Wii gimmick at the time was the biggest shit in the world since like sliced bread. So you had to hold the Wii remote sideways. There was no other way to control the character, and like on top of that, it just made the entire game feel janky as fuck because the stages were designed around that mechanic, and the mechanic itself was mid as fuck. Fun story. Like, I think the storybook games have really well connected stories, I guess I should say, or like transitive stories, because they just take the Sonic characters and put them in other stories that already exist. But the gameplay was just, it was not well received at all because the Wiimote just made Sonic feel extremely clunky. I hated this shit. I hated that fucking game. 1 year and 9 months later, we would be graced with an absolute banger of a game in Sonic Unleashed. Now, this game has seen very positive revisionism in the past few years, because when this game dropped, people absolutely hated the werehog stages. Like, review sites were giving the game 50 because half the game is good when you're in the day stages, but half the game is bad because the werehog isn't the day stage. Shut the fuck up. Like, the game itself is honestly like one of the best games. It was the first game to bring the boost formula to 3D, and it did it very well for a first outing. The story is good, the story's coherent. Like, I think this was also one of the first games that kind of removed the other playable characters from the formula, like a theme that would be consistent for the rest of the fucking games. But yeah, man, Sonic Unleashed it's so good. Like, the 2 years that the core Sonic team had, the team that wasn't working on the Wii games had from 06 to this game, was very well used. To this date, I still say this is the best opening cutscene in any Sonic game. This shit is gas. Like, this shit is fucking fire, bro. Like, I still just casually go back and watch it from time to time. But yeah, man, game is easily, in my opinion, a 10 out of 10 game. Like, Unleashed deserved the second chance at life that it's been getting these past 3 years. And it should have got that the first go round, because I defended this game when it came out. But Unleashed is great. Unleashed is so fucking good. 4 months later, the Wii team got a chance at redemption with Sonic and the Black Knight, another storybook title where we go to the world of King Arthur and all that shit, and it's better. Like, the controls were a lot more responsive. The gameplay loop was it was definitely improved from Secret Rings, but you know, it was still a Wii game, so you still had drivable Sonic, and it wasn't for me. Like, I'm pretty sure it's somebody's favorite Sonic game, but like, it did not do it for me. After being used to playing on a controller, like an actual controller with different buttons, and not having to flick the stick for home and attack, it was weird. Definitely better than Secret Rings, though. A much improved game over the last Wii outing, but this would be the first to last Wii game, because the next game, rounding out the Wii titles, we have Colors, that came out 1 year and 3 weeks after Black Knight, and this is just the culmination of the Wii team. This is their magnum opus. Colors is really good. It was a lot better received in 2010 than it is now, because there are some, you know, pacing issues with the game. Like, a lot of the stages have like elevator sections where you just don't do much. But even then, like, this game is really enjoyable. Really brought the boost formula to the Wii in a grandiose way. Like, the story, the concept of the story is good, but like, a lot of the writing got criticized in this game just because it's so childish. Like, it's incredibly childish writing, but they're gonna fix it. They're gonna fix it in Frontiers, but the next few games all have that same issue of like, just the writing being extremely childish, man. But the game itself is actually good. Like, they really used that year they had to develop this game to the maximum. Coming in at just under a year later, we got Generations. This is the GOAT for a lot of people. It's definitely up there for me too. Like, it's 20th anniversary game, so like, a lot of the stages were updated for this game. Remix music's really good. Again, weirdly written story, pretty goofy premise, but like, it, for what it is, the game itself is fantastic. It's really optimized on all platforms. The stages are fun, playing as either classic Sonic or modern Sonic. They definitely separated the abilities between the two, which is still weird because they also share some abilities, but like, the game itself was fantastic, man. This is like top 5, top 3 current Sonic games that are in existence. Really good, really well done, a year well spent. Coming in 1 year, 11 months, and 28, fuck y'all, I'm gonna just say 2 years. We had Sonic Lost World. Now, this game, I'm not gonna defend the game, but I'm also not gonna trash the game. This was a really inoffensive game, in my opinion. Like, they tried something new with the world design and the parkour mechanics. Are there things I think could have been done better? Like, yeah, the Wisp sections, absolutely. They are just there because they were in the other games. Like, there's literally no fucking purpose to them, I feel, in this game specifically, because anything that they allow you to do can be done through normal traversal. Like, at least in Colors, there were sections where you had to use them, but I didn't hate this game. Like, I won't even sit there and say that the game was bad or poorly executed. Just the fucking writing. Every game in the meta era just had shit writing. But the game itself is fun. I will say that. I did actually enjoy the game for the most part, being honest. But I understand why people didn't like it. Coming in a whopping 3 years and 10 months after Lost World, we got Mania from Christian Whitehead, headcanon, and some collaboration with Sega. This shit was flames. This is like widely considered to be either the pinnacle or like right behind 3 and Knuckles as far as the 2D games goes, and it was just really good, man. Like, that studio, or both studios, always do really good with their ports that they did for 1, 2, 3, and CD, and this was just like their love letter to the franchise. It was really good, man. Mania is still a fantastic Sonic game. Like, I go back and play it every now and then up until, you know, we get Frontiers, but everything was executed well. The aesthetic was good. The new plot was decent. I mean, it's no cutscenes because it's a classic style game, but it's storytelling through visuals, and it was done really well. Music slaps. T-Lopes went crazy. No real major glitches either that I remember, at least in my playthrough. Like, I had a really clean run of this game, but everything was just optimized, turned up to the max, man. This is a fantastic game. Again, top five Sonic game. Amazing. 2 months and 3 weeks later, we would get Sonic Forces, and yeah, it's Sonic Forces is Sonic Forces. Like, this game gave so many fans PTSD that still carries on to this day. Stages were extremely linear. The story was goofy as all hell because there was a lot of shit that happened that just had no real purpose to happen. Like, yeah, Sonic got caught and tortured for 6 months, but he looks perfectly fucking fine when we go to rescue him. Also, classic Sonic is there. Why? Yeah, because of reasons, man. He had to be, because he was in Generations, and y'all like that so much that we're gonna do it again with no context. We also got a customizable avatar. That was really cool. That was really fun. The avatar stages were cool simply because they were unique and not as linear as the core stages for the main fucking character. But ultimately, it really couldn't save this game, man. Like, it's just hold square to win for most stages, or boost whatever your platform is. But boost to win is like on full display here. A lot of these stages you don't even really have to jump too much because they're random QTEs and just extremely straightforward stage design. Man, there are some things that it did right, but they are few and far between. Y'all gotta give these games some time to cook, man. Give them some time to fucking marinate. Holy shit. And 5 years and 1 day later, we will be playing Absolute Peak. I'm confident Sega's gonna stick the landing on this one, because at this point, it seems pretty hard to fuck it up. But like, everything I've seen about Frontiers just looks absolutely fucking amazing. I mean, after all, they've had 5 years to develop it. They're trying a new concept for the franchise, which is cool. I really don't see how they could mess this up at this point, because everything that I've seen has just gotten me more and more excited for the game, with the exception of that first footage. But I mean, at this point, I'm tired of talking about and hearing it, because that we're so far removed from that now. But it's looking like this is gonna be another banger, man. If this game sticks the landing, I could easily see this like being in the top 3, possibly even my favorite Sonic game, because I honestly haven't like seen like promo like this and been excited in years. But that being said, I am very much so impatiently waiting for November 8th. So like I predicted, the video is definitely going to be over 20 minutes. It's at 25 minutes right now. So I appreciate everybody hanging out with me, staying to the end of the video, just listening to me and the tism thoughts. Again, it won't be forever until I do another video like this, because it's been a minute. I think this wasn't even an essay. I was just sitting here talking through my thoughts. I didn't have anything typed out, but it still feels like a video essay. So, run that up for your boy. Comment down. I like talking to y'all. I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.